It's 7 o'clock p.m. on a Friday. Your phone buzzes against the hard surface of the table. You see a name pop up. You see the preview of the text. It's an invite. Hey, we're all going to that bar downtown. You should come. For a normal person, or what you perceive as a normal person, this is just a text message. It's an option. It's a door opening. But for you, it's a threat. Before you even pick up the phone, your stomach drops. A physical wave of exhaustion washes over you. You haven't moved an inch, but your heart rate has spiked. Your brain doesn't see a party. It sees a minefield. You instantly picture the noise. You picture the awkward silence when you run out of things to say. You picture the feeling of standing in a crowded room, holding a drink, feeling completely and utterly alone. You picture the moment you want to leave, but can't because you're trapped by social obligation. So you do the only thing that makes the feeling stop. You lie. You type, "I'm so sorry, I'm not feeling great tonight. Maybe next time." You hit send, and immediately you feel a wave of dopamine, relief. The threat is gone. You are safe. You can stay in your room in your pajamas where nothing can hurt you and nothing can surprise you. But then about an hour later, the relief fades, and something much darker takes its place. You open Instagram, you see the story updates, you see them laughing, you see them together. And you feel a very specific, brutal kind of hollowness. You realize that you aren't just staying in, you are erasing yourself. You are slowly becoming a ghost in your own life. Have you ever noticed this cycle? The difference between people who run toward the world, assuming it will embrace them, and people who run away from it, assuming it will hurt them. Maybe you're the person who gets a phone call from an unknown number and stares at it until it stops ringing, convinced it's bad news. Maybe you're the person who assumes that if a friend hasn't texted you back in 4 hours, they hate you. Why does the brain do this? Why do we sabotage our own connection? Why do we choose loneliness, even when we crave company? Is it because you're introverted? Is it because you're depressed? Or is it because your brain is trying to save your life? Stick with me until the end of this video. We are going to tear apart the psychology of the decline. We are going to look at the brutal reasons why you expect the worst, and why turning down that invite feels like survival. The answer might hurt a little bit to hear, but it might be the only thing that sets you free. To understand why you turn down invites, we have to look at the first group. We call them the wounded animals. For this group, expecting the worst isn't a mindset, it's a memory. Psychologically, the brain is designed to keep you alive, not to keep you happy. It learns from pain. If you touch a hot stove, your brain records that data. Stove equals pain, but for the wounded animal, the hot stove was people. Somewhere in your timeline, you learned a brutal lesson. Expectation is the precursor to disappointment. Maybe you grew up in a chaotic house, where a parent promised to take you somewhere and then forgot. Maybe you were in a relationship where you let your guard down and you were humiliated for it. Maybe you were the kid in school who got laughed at when they tried to speak up. Your brain recorded that data. It wrote a code: hope is dangerous, vulnerability is a trap. So now when you get an invite, your brain screams. It says, "Don't go. If you go, you might have a good time, but then it will end. Or worse, you'll go and they won't actually want you there. They're just inviting you out of pity." This is the protective mechanism. You turn down the invite as a preemptive strike. If you reject them first, they can't reject you. If you decide the night is going to be terrible, you protect yourself from the hope that it might be good. Psychologists call this emotional callousing. Just like your hands get rough if you work in the fields, your heart gets rough if you live in fear of rejection. You numb yourself. But here is the brutal truth about this group. By trying to avoid the pain of rejection, you are inflicting the pain of isolation on yourself. You are the one locking the door. You tell yourself you are just a homebody. You tell yourself you hate people, but that's a lie. You don't hate people, you are terrified of them. You are starving for connection, but you are too afraid to eat because you think the food might be poisoned. And the tragedy is, the longer you stay in your cage, the safer it feels. But the smaller your world becomes. Then there is the second group. This is the most exhausting way to live. These are the scriptwriters. For this group, turning down an invite isn't about the past. It's about the future. It's about control. When a scriptwriter gets an invite, they don't just see an event. They see a puzzle that needs to be solved. Psychologically, this is known as intolerance of uncertainty. The anxious brain cannot handle the unknown. It views ambiguity as a physical threat. So when you get an invite to a party where you don't know everyone, or a dinner at a restaurant you've never been to, your brain goes into hyperdrive. You start catastrophizing. But let's be real about what that feels like. It feels like you are writing a horror movie in your head. Scene 1, I walk in and trip. Scene 2, I see my ex. Scene 3, I have a panic attack in the bathroom and ruin the night for everyone. You run these simulations over and over again. You obsess over the parking situation. You check the menu online to make sure there's something you can eat. You rehearse conversations in the shower. By the time Friday night actually comes, you are exhausted. You haven't even left your house, but emotionally, you have already lived through the party 10 times, and every time it was a disaster. So you turn down the invite, not because you don't want to go, but because you are too tired to go. You have pre-spent all your energy worrying about it. This is the brutal irony of the scriptwriter. You worry to prepare yourself. You think, if I imagine the worst-case scenario, I'll be ready for it. But the worry doesn't prepare you. It paralyzes you. You decline the invite to get a hit of control. When you say no, the uncertainty vanishes. The movie in your head stops playing. The monster is gone, but look at the cost. You are trading your life for a sense of safety. You are choosing a boring, predictable, lonely Friday night over a messy, unpredictable, potentially amazing Friday night. Just because you can control the boredom, you are addicted to the safety of the known, even if the known is miserable. But we have to be fair. Not everyone who expects the worst is broken. There is a third group. A group that uses this darkness as fuel. We call them the watchmen. In psychology, there is a concept called defensive pessimism. This isn't a disorder, it's a strategy. These are the people who turn down invites not because they are scared, but because they are the only adults in the room. They are the ones who are constantly scanning the horizon for icebergs. When a watchman gets an invite for a road trip, they don't think about the music or the snacks. They think, what if the car breaks down? What if we get lost? What if someone gets hurt? So they pack the jumper cables. They download the maps offline. They bring the first aid kit. They expect the worst so they can prevent it. If you are a watchman, you probably feel like a burden to your friends. They call you a buzzkill. They tell you to relax. But what they don't understand is that you can't relax. Because if you relax, who is going to watch the door? Who is going to make sure everyone gets home alive? You turn down invites because sometimes the responsibility of being the watchman is too heavy. You don't want to go to the party because you know you won't be able to have fun. You'll be too busy watching people's drinks, checking the exits, and making sure nobody does something stupid. It is a lonely, thankless job. The watchman is the person who stands in the rain holding the umbrella over everyone else. You are soaked, you are cold, but everyone else is dry. And the brutal part, they don't even thank you because they didn't even notice it was raining. So we have the wounded animals, the scriptwriters, and the watchmen. 3 different reasons for saying no, 3 different paths to the same empty room. But we have to talk about the cost, and this is the part that hurts. Every time you turn down an invite to avoid a worst-case scenario, you are paying a price. You are paying with your memories. Think about the last 5 years of your life. What are your core memories? They are probably the moments where things went wrong, but you laughed anyway. They are the unplanned nights, the road trips where you got lost, the awkward dates that turned into great stories. When you refuse to go because you are scared of the bad outcomes, you kill the possibility of the good ones. You are flattening your life. You are turning your existence into a straight, flat line. It's safe, it's predictable, but it's dead, and there is a physical cost, too. Living in a state of constant threat assessment destroys your body. Your cortisol is high, your jaw is clenched. You are exhausted all the time, not because you did physical labor, but because you spent 8 hours fighting imaginary dragons in your mind. The brutal truth is this. You are protecting yourself from a life that is trying to happen to you. You are guarding a fortress that nobody is attacking. And inside that fortress, it is getting very, very quiet. So I have to ask you, when that phone buzzes, when the invite comes in, who are you? Are you the wounded animal, nursing old scars, convinced that everyone is going to hurt you eventually? Are you the scriptwriter, paralyzed by the infinite number of ways things could go wrong, choosing the safety of no over the anxiety of yes? Or are you the watchman, too burdened by the need to keep everyone safe to actually enjoy the moment? You don't have to hate yourself for this. Your brain is trying to save you. It loves you. It wants you to survive. But survival is not the same thing as living. Maybe, just once, you can try something different. The next time the phone rings and your stomach drops and the simulation starts, pause, acknowledge the fear, say, I see you. I know you're trying to protect me. And then go anyway. Go even if your hands are shaking. Go even if you have to leave early. Go even if it's awkward, because the worst-case scenario you are terrified of. It's rarely as bad as the monster in your head. The awkward silence isn't fatal. The rejection isn't a death sentence. But the alternative, the silence of your empty room, the slow fade of your friendships, that is real, and that is happening right now. You can handle the bad night. You are strong enough to handle the awkwardness. Trust yourself to handle the world. I want you to be honest in the comments. I read them. What is the last thing you said no to that you secretly wished you had said yes to? Write it down, confess it. Let's look at the missed opportunities together. It helps to see that you aren't the only one hiding. If this video felt like I was reading your diary, hit that subscribe button. We dive deep into the uncomfortable parts of psychology here. We don't just give advice. We try to understand the machinery of the mind. And hit the like button. It helps this video find the other people who are sitting at home tonight, wondering if they made the wrong choice. I'll see you in the next video.